Hello guys, welcome back to Empty Seats, and today we're going to be talking about Birmingham City with the news coming out of there this morning that Pep Clotet will leave his role at the end of the current campaign. Let's get into today's video. Yeah, Pep Clotet is on his way out of St Andrews. He's not been there long, but already he's packing his bags. He's been spending some time in Spain with his family, and it appears he decides that his next role will probably be there where his family are based. But it leaves Birmingham looking for their sixth coach in 3.5 years, and that is a problem for them. They've had a lot of upheaval really since Gary Rowett. They've failed to recover from his sacking. Obviously, there was that disastrous spell with Gianfranco Zola winning 2 games out of 24, and they've struggled since then really to find any sort of consistency. So this next appointment is really going to be vital for them. And we're going to talk through the 4 favourites for the job at this current moment. But before we do that, let's look back on Clotet's time. Obviously, he was originally there as Gary Monk's assistant before being promoted to interim manager once Monk left. But in December, he was given the role on a full-time basis. However, now he is on his way out of the club. But Birmingham are in 16th. It looks like they'll be safe for another season in the Championship. They're 8 points clear of relegation, and the season is about to resume. And of course, Clotet will be in charge until the end of the current campaign. But he has done some good things while in charge at the club. Of course, Jude Bellingham, young star, he's been given a lot of game time in a wide midfield role in a 4-4-2 since January, really. And of course, speaking of that 4-4-2, Lucas Jukanovic up front with Scott Hogan, and he's been a brilliant loan signing in January. Scored 7 goals in 8 games and really helped Birmingham win some crucial points as they look to finish in mid-table in the Championship this year. But now Birmingham will have to go another way and look to appoint a new manager yet again. Clotet never seemed like a permanent appointment, to be honest. He always seemed to hold that interim title, even when he was appointed permanently. He just couldn't really mark the team as his own, although Scott Hogan really did help that, helped stamp his own style on the team. Birmingham fans seem to be a bit 50-50 whether it was the right decision to let him go. I think at this point, when life is so uncertain, and football in particular is so uncertain, it's nice to have a bit of consistency, which is why I think the announcement of this is a bit of a weird timing, to be honest. It's strange they didn't just save this till the end of the season. Clearly, both parties have made their mind up, and they're going to go from there and hopefully get a new manager in sooner rather than later. Obviously, Clotet will be there until summer and see Birmingham safe, and then the new manager will come in with his new regime, his new players maybe, and we'll see where Birmingham can go from there. But let's run through the top 4 contenders for the job. Now, remarkably favourite for the Birmingham City job early on, of course, is Craig Gardner. Craig Gardner, the former player at Birmingham, of course, he made that controversial move from Villa Park to St Andrews in 2010 and then returned for another spell later on where he finished his career. And since then, he has been a first-team coach at St Andrews. He's been working closely with the management staff and the first-team players, which makes him an easy choice, I would say. But that doesn't necessarily mean it is the right choice. Obviously, he would be very cheap to employ. He's already working at the club. There wouldn't be any compensation needed, just a bit of a pay rise, which would make things very comfortable for the Birmingham owners. But there's one elephant in the room, might be quite a big one. He's got no managerial experience, of course. Putting Craig Gardner in charge of Birmingham would be a huge risk for those involved, and it would you'd question their safety going into next season with him in charge. Now, of course, he might be an amazing manager. Managers have got to start somewhere, and he has been working closely with the first team, but it would be a huge gamble, and it seems Birmingham fans aren't too keen to give him a chance. They wouldn't be too happy with the appointment when you see some of the other names on this list. He is only 33 years old, which would make him the youngest manager in the Championship by a little distance, and it just doesn't seem like a long-term plan for me. You don't give Craig Gardner the Birmingham job, in my opinion. You just don't. He is favourite. Worryingly for Birmingham fans, I think this could happen. I don't think it should happen, though, when you look at some of the other names on the list. Let's have a look at some of the other names. Now we are talking. This is a manager. This is a man. This is a hunk of beef who's got a couple of promotions under his belt from the division. Slavisa Jokanovic. Now he is a name that will excite Birmingham fans, I'm sure. He has got promotions, he's got everything about him. He is currently managing Al Ghaffari in Qatar, and they sit 4th in the league. Not that you'll be bothered at all, but that's where he is at the moment. Obviously, he's earning himself a quite tidy paycheck out there, but I'm sure he'd be tempted with a championship challenge, although he has proven himself in this division many times. He got Fulham promoted in 2018 most recently. They won the playoffs against Aston Villa, of course, at Wembley. Who can forget John Terry's tears again? And he got Watford promoted from the Championship in 2015. So there seems to be a bit of a pattern developing there for me. Watford promoted in 2015, Fulham promoted in 2018, 2021 next year. Birmingham City promoted? Maybe he'd like that challenge. Who knows? But he's got a truckload of experience. You can't deny that. And he is a man who has managed in the Premier League. He's managed in the Championship. He's managed all over the world. He's even managed in the Champions League with Maccabi Tel Aviv in the group stages. He is a brilliant manager. He'd be a great fit for Birmingham if they can tempt him out of what I can imagine is quite a cushy lifestyle in Qatar. Getting him away from Qatar could cost quite a bit of money in comparison to Craig Gardner anyway. He certainly wouldn't come cheap, but if you want a top quality manager, sometimes you've got to pay the big bucks. And Slavisa Jokanovic is certainly an experienced manager, and he is second favourite at the moment. Birmingham fans would love this. Third favourite for the job is another name who might pluck on the heartstrings of a few Birmingham fans, is Chris Hughton. Chrissy Hughton, he's been out of a job since leaving Brighton in the summer, and now he looks ready to get back into management. Of course, Birmingham fans will know him from his one season in charge, where he led Birmingham to a 4th place finish and the playoffs in the Championship. I mean, in the last 10, 15 years, 20 years in fact, no manager at Birmingham has had a better win percentage than Chris Hughton, and that goes all the way back to Trevor Francis. He was sensational there. Birmingham fans would love to have him back. And I mean, look at his CV, look at what he has done in football. In terms of the Championship, there's not many better managers in that division. When you look at his CV, it just boasts experience, it boasts quality, it boasts trophies. He won the league with Newcastle at the first time of asking champions in the Championship. Then he moved to Birmingham, where, as of course I've already mentioned, he finished 4th with them. They lost the playoff semi-final to Blackpool that year. That's not the year Blackpool went up, that was the year Blackpool lost in the final to West Ham, of course. I think it was Ricardo Vaz-Tey who scored the winner, if I remember. But a 4th place finish in the Championship, and I think a 47% win ratio for Chris Hughton just shows exactly what he can do at the Midlands club. From there, he moved on to Norwich, of course, and he took Norwich to an 11th place finish in the Premier League. And even when he was sacked the following season, his side was 17th in the league, outside the relegation zone. He got sacked when they were outside the relegation zone. They finished inside the relegation zone, and maybe that's all you need to know about Chris Hughton and the kind of man he is, and the kind of manager he is. He has got that quality, and he may not be fashionable, but he's certainly got experience and quality. And then at Brighton and Hove Albion, he took them from a mid-table Championship club, a club who didn't look like they had any hope of getting promoted at all, and he took them and they finished 2nd, amazingly, kind of thrown away the title on the last day even at Villa Park. And obviously Newcastle were the team who pipped them to that season, but he took them up, and then even better achievement arguably, he kept them in the Premier League at the first time of asking, before they decided to go in a different direction. But I don't think that's any negativity towards Hughton and the job he did there. The club were entirely grateful to him and the position he's put them in, and now I think he deserves another chance. To be honest, I think Chris Hughton deserves another chance in the Premier League, not the Championship. He's a brilliant manager, and although it may not lead to long-term success, you could argue that at Brighton it did. I think he deserves a chance in the Premier League. So for Birmingham, lower end of the Championship, it would be a bit of a coup to get hold of him and have him in charge, and he could really build a project for them. So 3rd on the list was Chris Hughton, and now the 4th manager on the list. And the last one we're going to talk about today is Coventry manager Mark Robins. Now Birmingham want a manager who knows exactly what it takes to win at St Andrews. Here is their man, of course. Coventry are ground sharing with Birmingham this season, and Mark Robins has got them to top of the league. They've lost only 1 game at home this season, bit of a shock loss to Tranmere, but the job he's done with the Sky Blues has been completely a revolution at that club. When he took over, they were on their way down to League Two after a spell with Russell Slade, which all Coventry fans want to forget. He took them to Checkatrade Trophy glory, if you can call it that, at Wembley, winning the first trophy before dropping down into League Two. And at the first time of asking there, they won the playoffs, which was a great achievement for Robins, given the circumstances involved at the club. Now, if that wasn't enough for promotion from League Two on his CV, he then finished 8th in League One, and then this season, this has been the season to end all season for Coventry fans. He's taken them to top of the league. It looks like they will be promoted on points per game at this point, which means they'll be in the same league as Birmingham next season, more than likely. So will Robins want to trade a championship club for another championship club when he's made it his home? He's got a bit of loyalty to them now. It depends what wages are on offer, but I can't see it happening, to be honest, Birmingham fans. As a Coventry fan, I don't want him to leave at all. He's the Messiah, in my opinion. He's a great manager, but I just can't see it happen. I think he's learned from his mistakes now. When Mark Robins was here at Coventry in his first spell, he decided to leave for Huddersfield, and they were talking about quadrupling his wages at that time. Now, that was a step up in division, up to the Championship, and things didn't go well for him. Obviously, he earned good money, but in terms of football on the pitch, it didn't go well for him at all. He was sacked, then he had a spell at Scunthorpe where he was sacked again. And many people questioned his ability as a manager. Now, obviously, he's completely rebuilt his reputation at Coventry, and now he's one of the top managers in the Football League. But whether Birmingham can poach him from their Midlands rivals, I seriously doubt. I feel like Robins had a job to get Coventry back into the Championship, and now the club are willing to give him whatever he wants to stay. Look at the job he's done from League Two to the Championship. I think Birmingham will probably have to look elsewhere on this occasion. Now, those were just the top names in the running at the moment, but of course there's a whole host of other candidates willing to throw their name into the ring. You've got Aitor Karanka, famed for his Middlesbrough promotion winning season. He didn't do too well in the Premier League, but that would be a good experienced manager to come in and steady the ship at Birmingham. Then you've got Lee Bowyer, who also played for the club. He could be a good appointment, currently at Charlton. Neil Warnock, he's another name, experienced name you could throw into the mix. I'm not sure Birmingham fans would like Neil Warnock too much, but I don't know. Maybe they would. And of course, the likes of Mick McCarthy. But it's a good job, this one, Birmingham. They're a big club. They've got a good team, a decent ground. It's an attractive proposition for any manager. And in a couple of years' time, or even next season, we could see them pushing for the playoffs, certainly in the Championship. It's about where they should be. They've had seasons in the Premier League in the not too recent memory. They can be a big club and they can make it back to the Premier League if they get this appointment right. Now, if it was me in charge, if it was me making the decisions, I think it would come down to two names. And that would be, I've gone on about enough this video, haven't I? Chris Hughton and Slavisa Jokanovic. Jokanovic would probably cost a bit too much money, in my opinion, but he is a brilliant name to get in charge, and he does play good football. I mean, the football his Fulham team played was just absolutely sensational. So Jokanovic or Hughton is probably a toss of a coin for me. I would lean towards Chris Hughton. Of course I would. I love Chris Hughton. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it. And leave a comment down below who you think should be the next Birmingham City manager. Should it be one of the four I mentioned? Are you a Mark Robins fan? Or do you want Chris Hughton to get the job like I do? Thanks for watching again, guys. I'll see you next time. Cheers.